Welcome to the Ask Ezra podcast. Real people with intimacy challenges and real intimacy coaching. I'm Sir Ezra Algos, intimacy coach at askezra.info. If this is your first episode, you might be asking yourself, what is intimacy coaching? One definition is that an intimacy coach helps people feel safer, closer, and more connected to their lovers, friends, and even themselves. It is my goal to help people become closer to the people that they care about. So join me for this session already in progress. Another thing that you can work on is not just a list of interests, but also a list of limits.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you're going through that list, I mean, the most common hard limit that I ever hear is poop. Nobody wants to play with poop, right? Not nobody. Not nobody. There are some people who are really passionate about brown showers.
It's just not as common.
It's super not common. People tend to have really strong negative feelings for it. So that might be the first one to put on your hard limit list, right? So a hard limit. Do you know the difference between a hard limit and a soft limit?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Sure. Well, just to clarify, a hard limit is like, I will never do this ever. And a soft limit is like, I probably won't do this, or I will only do this under certain situations or circumstances.
Okay, yeah.
A good example of that in like from the vanilla world is there's a lot of people who will be like, oh, I won't do anal unless it's my husband, right?
Oh, okay,
so that's a soft limit. That's like, okay,
yeah.
like, it's not never.
I was thinking like if only if there's tequila.
Well then, so soft limits are things that people shouldn't come to you for those things.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, if you want that every day, it's just not gonna happen.
It's not. Yeah. Okay.
Another example of a soft limit is tickling for my partner, but I might tickle my partner like 4 times a week. Because I'm an asshole. But it's also because
that like tickling might almost be a hard limit.
Sure. Me. Yeah. No, and you're entitled to your hard limits. There's
yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of set it as an example because it's okay for me to do it because, that's my wife and that's how she feels. But if you like just met her and you like tried to do that in a scene, like it's done. You're done. It's over.
Yeah.
She did not give consent for that. You did not ask. So that's something to be, so it's almost like you could do like a stoplight system too. You could be like green. You've got your green list is like, yes, more of that, please. And your yellow list and your red list. In fact, the survey suggests breaking it down from a 1 to 5 scale. So your hard limits are going to be like 0s, like things you have absolutely no interest in. And your 5s are going to be fetish needs.
Okay.
Right? So things that you're like, if this doesn't happen, I'm not into it,
Okay.
And you're entitled to any of those. Like, you're not entitled to have your fetish fulfilled, but you are entitled to your fetish.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So don't like, it can feel selfish or weird in this culture that we have where we're like supposed to compromise with everybody, but there's nobody else on this list. This is you. This list is for you. Don't be shy. Don't compromise. That is such a hard thing as a woman to do that because we're just programmed to compromise and to put our needs below everybody else's. Yeah. And thank you for mentioning that because, you talked about wanting to be a good submissive and that can be a really strong impulse to subjugate your own needs, but that's not going to make you a good sub.
Right.
It might make you a good hookup, but it's not going to make like sub is a relationship. Sub is a long-term. I mean, it can be for a hookup, sure. And you want to just please that person. Like, sure, they may enjoy that, but are you getting your needs met? And in a long-term relationship or any kind of sustained relationship, you need to communicate your needs. And that's going to help you be a better submissive is to be able to communicate those needs and wants. What I like to say is I need to know what my submissive wants. They may not get what they want. Right. That's my choice as the dominant is to decide what they get. But if I don't know what they need or what they want, then I can't operate. I can't do my job. even if you're like, I need cuddles or I want cuddles. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're not getting them, because I'm torturing you. Right.
Mhm.
But like, I don't have access to that information if I don't hear it. So being able to say no, super important. Being able to say yes, super important. Like being able to speak up for your needs is super important. You can be people pleasing, like you can do that,
Mhm.
but not at the expense of yourself. Right. There's a
Right.
huge distinction there. Like we can role play. I don't have any needs. I'm just here for you. I'm a toy. Right. We can role play
Right.
that, but that's no way to live. And
That's
that's
not
no
a
way to sustain.
relationship.
Yeah, it isn't. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's being used,
Right.
which can be fun, but
And it happens a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. But it's, but what you want is a relationship where you can pretend to be used,
Mhm.
like it comes back to risk mitigation. If you have like a strong need to feel used, like there's nothing wrong with that feeling, but it is a dangerous one because we can fulfill it in some unsafe ways, right?
Right.
So you can go out and be used by somebody who does not care about you, and you're being intimate with somebody who doesn't have any regard for your safety, and you could end up in some real trouble. Or
Mhm.
you can find a relationship where somebody's willing to role play to satisfy your needs, and can then role play that uselessness without undermining your agency in the world. Right? That's the key.
Yeah.
Is having, if you want to give up agency, give it up in a role play, but
Right.
don't give it up in the real world, or
Right.
people will be making choices for you, and you end up in trouble. The other piece of advice I'll give you for like being a good submissive,
Mhm.
is there's really two components, and we've already kind of touched on one. One is self-knowledge. So the
Mhm.
more you know yourself, the more you have to offer yourself accurately. Like the least
Mhm.
attractive, like people come at me all the time, and they're like, hey, I want to be your sub. And I say, okay, like, what are you into? And they're like, I don't know, whatever you want. And I'm like,
Like, nope.
next. That's not
But
it.
isn't it like the sub is pretty much the one who like calls the shots, like from as far as like what they're okay with. So it's not going to be like, oh, whatever you want. It's like, oh, whatever you want from my lovely little list that I've given you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Okay.
there are some people whose list is practically infinite, but to have confidence in that statement is self-knowledge. To say I don't have any limits is not self-knowledge.
Right.
People say I don't have any limits. I say, oh, okay, so I can cut a hole in your abdomen and poop into it, right? Which is a terrible idea.
Is that immediately what you
Terrible
go
idea.
to when they say that?
Yeah, and it's illegal. It's illegal in more than one way. You can't legally stab somebody, and you can't poop on somebody legally. Not that you shouldn't do it in a safe space, but it's against the law.
With consent.
With consent and safe space.
Enthusiastic consent.
Don't forget to use disinfectant. Yeah, so self-knowledge, and the other one's communication. Coincidentally, it's also the best thing that you need to be a dominant. Hey everybody, it's Ezra. And wow, isn't that exciting? Wouldn't you like to be the next guest on our show? Well, you can. Just email askezra8@gmail.com. And hey, if being on the show is too much and you'd just like to get some private intimacy coaching, that's available too. Now back to our show. A great way to practice communication is by negotiating. For those that are not familiar with, the BDSM terminology, like negotiating is how you discuss play that is about to happen. It could be about like how you discuss a relationship, but you basically come to an agreement, right? And I got really good at negotiating because I realized that negotiating is not consent to play, is not consent to a form of relationship. So I can negotiate with anybody. There shouldn't be an expectation that just because you're negotiating that it's necessarily going to lead to play. And because of that, I'm open to negotiate with anybody. And so I've had a lot of practice. We've got about 15 minutes left in the session. So if you'd like, we can practice a negotiation.
I would love that.
Okay. Without any expectations attached to it.
Okay. No expectations. Okay.
No expectations. Hi, Meg.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Would you be open to negotiating play? Because I think that we get along really well, and I think we could have some fun together.
Yeah, I would like that.
Awesome. So what are you into?
I'm definitely into spanking, and I would love to role play.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try more anal play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to try sensation play. I would like to be blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I got one more on my sheet that you told me
okay,
already.
what's that one?
Oh, I guess it's two: bondage and earplugs.
Oh
So,
yeah, bondage and earplugs. Yeah, those also. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, those sound really good. And my level of interest is this with all of those. In my negotiation, I would like pick out one and try to like fluff it out a little bit and get like
More information.
Yeah. And I'm just going to make you blush. So I'm going to say,
Okay.
what do you mean when you say anal play? What does that mean to you?
I would say penetration with toys, fingers. That's probably it for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing where it goes from there. Because it's something that's new for me. So it would be, it would be something that I'd have to work up to anything else.
Yeah, I hear you. Now I hear from what you said, and I don't want to make too many assumptions, but I heard like see what happens from there. Like that sounds to me like a wishy-washy boundary, and I really hate wishy-washy boundaries. So if we were gonna do it, I need a hard stop, and I'll be conservative with my hard stop. So if we're gonna do that, it's gonna be toys and fingers, period. And if you want to try it next time, we can have that conversation when you don't have something in your butt already.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, like when we're super like calm and not like in the heat of the moment. I don't want to make in the heat of the moment decisions because those are weird, and I don't want to not know if what I'm doing is okay.
Okay.
Awesome. What do you like about it? What do you like about that kind of play?
It feels good. It's one that I definitely have to have a lot of trust with the other person because it can be very painful if not done correctly but yeah, it's just it's something that I've always enjoyed. And I like it a lot when also, having vaginal penetration, clitoral stimulation, like I like all of that in combination with it. Anal sex is definitely one of those, like a few times a year with plenty of tequila. But I like, like I have one of those like little like plugs, but it's like called the gun drop. Like it's just a little one that I really like.
Here's this cutesy thing. Put it in your butt.
It's real cute. It's so cute.
Well, what I like about it is it feels dirty. I like that. I like that it feels.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do it. You're not supposed to like it. And I'm breaking the rules. But I do like it.
We're breaking the rules. Also, like the anus is effectively bottomless. You could just get all the way in there, which is really hot. And for the record, anal doesn't ever need to hurt. It really you can be successful at anal without it being painful if it's done right, and so often unfortunately is not done right. There needs to be like a church that can sing the gospel of anal warm up.
Why don't you just do another episode on how to do that?
Well, if I started the church of anal warm up, then I wouldn't have to pay taxes. So
I mean, I'm not a fan of organized religion, but it sounds like that would be one I'm okay with.
Yeah, I like it too because it's like it feels like you're at my mercy. Like there's definitely like this element of control that like I don't think I need to go farther into it, but that's how. Yeah. Okay. So what does it look like? What does it sound like when you're having a good time?
Like what do I sound like? Or Oh, I make a lot of noise. Like I will definitely probably, say that I like this, or definitely being moaning. I say like, oh fuck yeah, a lot. Yeah, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah, so you're really verbal.
I'm very verbal. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm also quite verbal. Like at no point am I not like open to talking during
Yeah.
sex. I'm not like,
Yes.
okay, we can't talk now.
Yeah. I normally have people who are like, could you like, it's fine. We're done talking now. It's like, no, no. Or the like,
Yeah.
shh, people are going to hear you. Who fucking care?
Yeah, there's two ways to go. The Catholic girls go one of two ways. Don't let anybody hear or let everybody hear. There's only two. There's no in the middle.
No, it's not.
There's no in the middle. So yeah, I make a lot of noise too. I like to laugh. And what does it look like? What does it sound like if you're having a not so great time?
I'm very good at being like, no, thank you. Like, or like a redirection. I don't, like if something hurts, I'm not okay. I can't just sit still. Like I can't not say, oh, nope, that's not going to happen.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm very good at like not putting myself in an uncomfortable, or not letting myself stay in an uncomfortable position.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of submissives who will like endure as an act of
Yeah,
service.
And I don't like to do that.
It's almost always a terrible idea. If you have talked to your dom and your dom is like, I want you to endure this, and you are open to that, then that's not a terrible idea. But in every other situation, then quietly suffering is not a favor to any person who really cares about you. If I'm not having a good time, then I might ask a lot of questions like, is this okay? Is that okay? Because I'm not like reading you anymore. Like, I'm not like feeling like I can tell if it's okay, which means I'm probably stuck in my head a little bit. If I get quiet, I might have started dissociating a little bit,
Now what, can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is two-way.
What helps bring you back? Like if you're starting to ask me like, is this okay? Or like, you're not, like, how can I help you in that situation?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Like a reconnection, like if we have been doing like A, B, and C and we're in D and all of a sudden it seems like I don't know if it's okay or not. Like we can go back to C maybe and just kind of like reconnect, or like take some time, or you can like reassure me that you are having a good time. It tends to be difficult for people who have that sort of trance modality of sexuality, because they won't give you feedback, and you just have to trust that they would if it wasn't fun, right? But some reassurance might be helpful. Be like, oh hey, I am having a good time. I think that sometimes it's like performative anxiety where I'm like, am I doing it right? Is this okay? It can be challenging because sex can feel like a goal-oriented activity. And the more I do it, the less attached I am to specific outcomes. Like it's about the activity. Walking is not about getting someplace necessarily. Like you go out and you go on a walk, and there you are, you've gone on a walk, right? So I kind of feel that way about sex. So if I got like stuck, like if I was like trying to make you come, for example, and I felt like I couldn't, then I might get sort of preoccupied with that without outcome, and just being relieved of,
instead of like being in the moment. And
and because I feel like it's my job to get you there. And if I can't get you there, like I'm doing something wrong. Now I have to do it again, and I'm like stuck. I'm like fixated on an outcome. And so just like reconnecting, or, maybe even switching the activity and just be like, okay, we're doing something else, and I will snap out of it. And I'm like an instant processor to the point of maddening. Like, oh, that happened. I have processed it. Let's talk about it. Like, so, and not everybody's like that.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
I think we have similar upbringings, and we had to as a survival mechanism, right?
Yes.
I have like a list of 20 questions if I wanted to be like really, really like by the book.
Okay.
And I like to spend like a whole hour like negotiating. I could also drill down and say, you said something like you like the way it feels. How does it feel? Tell me how it feels. What it, like I could get, pull on it, make it expand, get more information, and maybe like pick something else on that list. Like if we say, okay, bondage, why do you like bondage? What do you like about it?
Because I always have to be in control of every situation. And it's one of those I really just like need to like relinquish all control. Like, and I can't do that on my own. So I would have to be, I would have to be restrained in some way.
So it's like a physical way of reminding you to try to be out of control, to try to be, to give over power. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
What are your hard limits? What are the things that you absolutely won't do? For today, it doesn't have to be.
Probably a lot of
Yeah.
I think the one that comes to mind like the fastest is like I love giving blowjobs, but I hate that like forced skull fucking thing. Like that is not, I am not a fan of that. I will give you like a short period of time where you can like, we're in agreement where we can do like bop, bop, bop real quick, but I don't like numbing.
Bop, bop, bop.
Yeah. But yeah, like that is one that is very much like, do not force me to do that. Do not like, I'm not a fan of that. Hand jobs just because I don't like them. They're boring.
I was
like,
gonna say,
you can do that yourself. Like, right. I'm just not
better too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't have very good rhythm. I'm not gonna.
Do you know the secret?
I give garbage hand jobs.
Do you know the secret to a good hand job?
What?
Put your mouth on it.
Oh yeah.
I would also then proceed to ask you, are there any medical concerns? Anything that I need to be aware of? Any mental health issues? So on and so forth. I should also be a little bit better about answering every question I ask. Okay. I want you to want to know. And if all of a sudden your eyes roll when I start to answer the same question, then I know that you're not really interested in me. Okay. That's happened before. So
like what?
It can be
Give
good.
me an example.
No, I had a person who I asked all these questions, and then I answered the question after they gave their answer. And they weren't like making eye contact. They were like bored and waiting for me to ask them a question about themselves again. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh. Yeah. Me and you were triggered for the same reason. Yep. Red flag.
Yep. That's not, don't like that one.
But especially like the mental health question can be really challenging for people because there's this huge stigma around mental health. And so answering can be a way of loosening that tension a little bit. And I'll say, I have ADD. I get depressed sometimes. I get anxious sometimes. Do you have any of that? Right. And yeah, everybody fucking does. So, so that I mean, almost all the time I'll ask that mental health question and they'll say, nope, nothing. And then I'll say, okay, I get anxious and depressed. Do you? And they go, oh yeah, sure. I'm medicated. Like, okay, are you on SSRIs right now?
Yeah, it's definitely mental health, especially if you're medicated.
Well, and it's like, okay, if you're on SSRIs, like I'm not gonna be sad when I can't make you come because that's just not gonna fucking happen. So so get that, messy stuff out of the way. And then the final step is to say, well, Meg, I've thought about it and I would really like to do A, B, C, D, and E on Tuesday, the 17th. And if it's not right now, right? What do you think about that? And give you a chance to sort of hear my, how I imagine the role play could go or the activity could go and get your feedback ahead of time. I don't want to make plans without you. I want to make plans with you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's how I would end that. And I don't want to reveal my secrets, so I won't propose anything. But I got my notes. Hey everybody, it's Ezra. Do some of these challenges sound like some of the things you've been dealing with? Maybe your challenges are very different, but you just love to have somebody to work on them with. Well, you're not alone on your journey. I'm here to help. So email askezra8@gmail.com or visit us at askezra.info, and maybe we can set up a session where we just focus on you. All right, back to the last component of our show. So yeah, I hope that was helpful.
That was really helpful and super informative,
That's
and I have a
coaching.
lot to think about this evening. So.
Yeah, and hopefully we've opened some doors. There's some more questions. I think the survey is going to lead to a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm already in my head. I'm just like, ooh, okay.
Post Spanish flu, there was this. Did you hear about cuddle parties?
I mean, not after the flu, but I've heard of cuddle parties.
Yeah, cuddle parties come from, I think it was like 1920-ish, but post Spanish flu, everybody was like dying to touch each other. And so you would go, it was very monogamous. Like you had to like get a partner to come to one of these things, and you would just hang out in an apartment and like touch each other. And there were heavy petting ones too, I imagine, but less spoken of. I feel like they're probably not enough. Like whatever, 1920s was probably a total fucking cock block, but I feel like we need to do that now. We need to have a cuddle party. We need to have a cuddle party.
That's what people are doing, I think.
Thanks for watching the Ask Ezra podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends on social media. If you would like to review this episode, please do so at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support the episode, go to patreon.com/askezra, and you can sign up for our mailing list at askezra8@gmail.com. Lastly, if you'd like to find out if intimacy coaching is right for you, visit askezra.info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in next time.